Here we go!
Yo, what's up everybody? This is GamerBlake90, proud chief of the blue blurs, or pink blurs in this instance, cause Amy Rose taking the spotlight instead of Sonic, as we are now continuing my Amy Rose playthrough for Sonic 3D and 2D. The fan-made 2D reimagining of Sonic 3D Blast by Sonic, complete with Sega Saturn soundtrack that we are about to bask in the glory of, cause bruh, take a listen to this. The theme for Rusty Ruins, this should have been mainstream for this stage as far as I'm concerned. The Genesis theme is okay and all, but my god, this music makes you feel like you've been teleported somewhere magical. At first, I compared this stage to something akin to a combination of Sonic 3's Hydro City and Sonic 1's Labyrinth Zone. But upon looking closer at the tile layouts, which we'll get to see when we get closer to the bottom layout for the stage, I realized it was more comparable to Sonic 3D Title Tempest stage, and I'm surprised I didn't think of that comparison, seeing as Title Tempest is actually my favorite water stage in Sonic history, and also I messed up my ability to stay a fidget spinner. You would think that as powerful as Amy's hammer is known to be, it would be enough to break through the pillars that will obstruct many sections throughout the stage, but even that's not enough to do the trick. The guy turns out to a fidget spinner, as that's somehow more effective. Why? Well, don't ask me. But it is in keeping with, the line of how this stage worked in the original game, so I can let that slide this once. Anyway, time to make a quick return to these special stages. And the biggest reason I'm tolerating them now is because I think I have just found the absolute best piece of music for any Sonic special stage at all. And upon looking at the Saturn versions of the special stage for 3D Blast, I immediately realized why it is that Sonic went with a half-pipe style for these bonus stages. I not only realized it, I was all over it. What I'm still not all over though is the fact that these rings come at you so quickly that you're gonna be very, very hard-pressed to pick any up, let alone keep a hold on them. Cause this being the Sonic 2 style of the special stages, there will be various corners you have to traverse, and it will in turn be difficult to spot any incoming hazards like these bombs. So it's more a matter of memorization than it is being able to react at like the very last second. Luckily, there are a lot of these special states scattered throughout the game, as it follows the same rules as Sonic 3, where you find a big ring and you are teleported here. And now that I've gotten done re-explaining how the special states work because I played them before, let's talk about this music. It should be a sin for any piece of music to be this good. It actually made me really excited to play a special stage, something that isn't very common with me. Like, I've always liked the Sonic Mania special stages and definitely the Sonic CD stages, even though the CD stages are pretty freaking clunky, whereas Manias operate a lot smoother in comparison. But rarely do I actually pay attention to the music for a bonus stage, as hard as it may be to believe. Because I always talk about how music is among the stronger points of the Sonic series, and the bonus stages, it's certainly no different. But this was the one special stage theme I've heard that has won my heart within a millisecond. I suggest looking up the special stages for the Saturn version of 3D Blast when you have time, because they were dramatically different, like way more so than I was expecting them to be. I said this in my last video, but I naively assumed that the Saturn 3D Blast would be exactly the same as that of a Genesis version, but boy was I wrong. Mind you, I was only a kid at the time I made that assumption, which is part of why I kinda skipped out on the Sega Saturn at the time, though I'm now really wishing I didn't. Right. The downside to playing with Amy Rose. You have to get used to pressing 2 buttons consecutively as you, try to stay mobile. Otherwise, you're bound to run head-on into enemies, and without being able to curl up like Sonic can, you're a lot more vulnerable to eating hits here and there, so expect to drop a lot of rings if you're playing with this character. Especially when you have to go up the upside-down loops. What if there are enemies waiting at the very end of them? You have to jump off and swing that hammer pronto! Otherwise, you're about to get knocked for a loop. But yeah, anyway, Rusty Ruins Act 1. You have to be careful because it's pretty easy to get lost here, as there is a collapsible platform that you actually have to fall through in order to continue playing through the act. But if you can't find it, you're gonna find yourself getting lost. Not to worry though, this is what I'm here for. Can I, well, nope. I would need to, I would need to keep up my speed to jump over a spiked bed clearly, which ironically is a lot harder to do underwater. Because if you're jumping while standing completely still, you don't get that much assistance from the water physics. Something that I'm not all too used to, because generally when you're playing underwater, you actually get a lot of help with your vertical jumping height. Whereas, horizontally, in this game at least, horizontally, not so much. And on the Sonic games, even that is improved tremendously. Come on, guys, but I swear, this stage is packed full of Charmy and Vector's cousin. Like, we've run into nothing but Bee and Crocodile Badniks since we started playing this act. I almost think that Charmy and Vector have it out for me because I haven't covered Knuckles Chaotix yet, or Sonic Heroes. Sorry, guys. But you're gonna have to wait a while longer, because I'm juggling enough games as it is. Go a little easy on me. Oh, great. Remember those pills I talked about? Well, that would be an example of them. And now we need to go back to being a fidget spinner. Which also means having to watch very carefully or be swinging traps that will repeatedly go off screen and then back on screen. That actually brings me to a complaint that I kinda sorta have about the game, at least specifically for some stages in it. I don't really like the trap placement and at times the enemy placements. Because you're not exactly playing with a widescreen resolution here, so don't be fooled by my video. Because you're not playing the widescreen resolution here, the scenario where these traps repeatedly go off screen and they come back on screen can cause you to become quickly irritated with the stage that you are playing, because it's a lot harder to react to them in turn. Kind of like the special stage that we dealt with just now, where we got ourselves a Chaos Emerald. But yeah, oh! Well, there's a collapsible platform I was kinda sorta thinking of. I was actually thinking of a different platform altogether, but this does count too, because you do need to fall past here to get to the goalpost. So let's head on right down here and... Well, one note taken, if you're trying to change direction in the midst of a jump, especially if you've already packed on a lot of speed, you're not gonna make that much progress. You have to commit to the jump entirely, or... Well, I shouldn't say or, because you could still end up running headlong into a trap even if you do commit to the jump. It's really all dependent on your judgment calls. But if you are not certain of going fast to begin with, you probably shouldn't, especially as Amy, because again, there's a matter of her not having access to a spin dash, except when she goes through rabbit holes like in Green Grove Zone. That's when she can break that rule, and even then it doesn't exactly give her a hitbox. Poor Amy. Buffer. Well, I saw that bee coming and tried to swing my hammer. It didn't come out in time. Amy isn't exactly known for her speed, so be warned if you decide to pick her. I think I went over the entirety of her moveset in the Green Grove Zone, so by now you should know what to expect from her. But in case you do forget any parts of the moveset, I suggest referring back to my Green Grove episode for the Amy playthrough. I've also done a full playthrough with Sonic, in case y'all haven't given that a look yet, and I would encourage you to, because, at least for me, it was quite a fun experience. Well, well, what do we have here? Fang the Sniper. This boss is kinda tricky if you aren't entirely ready for it. He'll alternate between dropping bombs that you could actually knock back at him by either jumping into them, or in Amy's case, swinging her hammer. And he will at times pull out the pop gun, because it's what he's known for. That razor-sharp precision with the pop gun. Ah! Like I said, Amy can't jump at the bomb. She has to swing her hammer if she opts to jump at them. Otherwise, she's going to get bopped really quick. And speaking of getting bopped really quick, that's kind of happening right now. Because that pop gun is so hard to avoid the second you see it start up, because it fires really quickly, leaving you with little time to prepare yourself. So you more or less have to predict it as opposed to waiting for Fang to throw in a sneak attack, because he's pretty sneaky like that. All in all though, we made it through the first act, and thanks to our acquisition of that emerald, we now have 3 Chaos Emeralds. Sadly, the luxury of getting a Chaos Emerald without braving the special stages only applies to the first 2 stages, Green Grove and Rusty Ruins. From here on out, we have to do the rest of the dirty work ourselves. Which is kind of okay with me, because that actually shortens the typical number of special stages you'd have to play from 7 to 5. And you have to admit, that is quite a generous amount, especially given the difficulty curve of these particular stages. Also, let us all stop and pay our respects to this ethereal magic that we call a Sonic soundtrack. I was so robbed as a kid not being able to play the Saturn version of this game. I was so robbed. But Soda Nuck has allowed me to make up for that in a way, because while I'm not actually playing Sonic 3D Blast Saturn, this is close enough for me. Oh, look at the background. Remember when I said earlier that I mistakenly called this a mixture of Hydro City and Labyrinth? You see the tile layouts? Those are actually a lot closer to Sonic CD's Tidal Tempest. And again, I'm surprised I made an incorrect comparison, because I think more Tidal Tempest than I do Hydro City, or Labyrinth, whenever I think of a water stage. And also, I was watching the Sonic 06 playthroughs, and don't kill me guys, I know Sonic 06 was a disaster, but come on. It has some good points about it, okay? And my mind honestly flashed back to, I think the stage that was called... Okay, I'm starting to think Amy is somewhat of a privileged character. Sonic has to break this pillar starting from the top to the bottom, where Amy can just cheat and use her hammer. But come on now, you're telling me she can break partially destroyed pillars like this, but not the ones that are completely untarnished and barring the way? What kind of logic is that? And speak of the devil, there's 2 such pillars that you can only destroy by being a fidget spinner. The poor girl's gonna get dizzy by the time we're done with this stage. Oh, by the way, be careful of these flamethrowers. The timing is a little iffy. I haven't been able to gauge it accurately. It's the first act with any indication. So my advice, if you do see any flamethrowers come up, don't hesitate, just keep running. Unless you're about to run headfirst into a trap, then you can stop. You see, Rusty Ruins makes it so, to avoid getting pestered to death by off-screen hazards, you really have to take it slow. And if you're playing as Amy, you're gonna be doing that anyway, because again, she's not Sonic. But it really does force you to be cautious with where you decide to pick up on your momentum. Whereas in most Sonic stages, well, that is kind of still the case, because many forget that Sonic was founded on the basis of being a mixture of a platformer and a speed runner. You can't really make it about the only way to beat Sonic stage is just to go fast and that's it, because that caused a lot of stages to become linear. A flaw that the boost formula was all too good at demonstrating, especially in Sonic Forces. And I do like the boost formula, don't get me wrong. It was executed well in some cases, like say Sonic Unleashed, which is among my top 3 favorite Sonic games. But lately, Colors is starting to become a pretty good candidate for that list, because though its writing is subpar, as everyone knows. I had such a good time playing Colors, man, that frankly, I don't understand why it took me 10 years to ever finish. And in Unleashed case, it took me 11 years, because when I first learned of its existence, my interest was latched on to fighting games, I ended up putting it on the shelf for so long. I really should have finished it. I missed out on 2 great works of art. They weren't perfect, I'll be the first to tell you that. Especially when you look at Eggman Land, and, what else was I thinking of? The Werehog. It's not that I'm entirely opposed to the concept of the Werehog, but in some cases it was done very well. Anyway, I am kind of getting off topic here. I was saying earlier that while I was playing through this stage, it kind of made me think of the Kingdom Valley stage from Sonic 06. I think it was that stage with the Mach Speed section where you went through a bunch of waterfalls that were covering slabs of stone that Sonic had to run along in order to make it to the very end of the stage. I think that was also the very last part of the Kingdom Valley stage as well. And mind you, just like with Unleashed and Colors, up until recently, I hadn't played through the entirety of 06, but I did glimpse some playthroughs, and Kingdom Valley was an eyesore, in a good way, not a bad way. So I can't help but wonder if maybe Kingdom Valley did factor into this stage's development as well. At least that's an assumption anyway. I can still think more of Hydro City and Tidal Tempest when I look at it, but when you see that Rusty Ruins is composed mostly of ancient stone, and there's actually water thrown into the mix now, something that wasn't the case with the original Rusty Ruin, other than as a weather condition in a Saturn version. It kinda makes sense. And yeah, yeah, see what I mean? Off-screen hazards, those are such an irritation. It's not my first time dealing with such traps like that, but they never get less annoying, even over time. Okay. From the looks of where we're at right now, I think I know exactly where we're at. I think we're getting very close to the end. Ah! Well, that didn't go the way I wanted. By the way, Amy gains a hit block when she's turned into a fidget spinner, so badness cannot do squat to her. Whew! A permanent spin dash. That's what you could use right about now. Alright. Right past this gate will be the boss of Rusty Ruin, but first, look at that sunset, bro. That is freaking awesome. I think somebody left a comment recently telling me that the sunset background was from a stage featured in one of the Sonic Advanced games. I'm trying to remember which one he pointed out, but crap, it deserted my memory. I'm going to go back and look at what stage he was talking about, and when I find out which one that is, I'll throw in a text clip somewhere in the layout to tell you what exactly that is. Thanks to them, though, for imparting the information. I drew a fairly decent number of accurate comparisons when it came to the stages in this game, but some of them were blatantly incorrect. And I hate spreading misinformation. Alright, so this is supposed to be a callback to the Rusty Ruins boss from Sonic 3D Blast, but this also borrows heavily from Sonic 3 Standoff Blitz Act 2 boss. As you can see from the layout, you have to force these claws to slam into the ground so you can use them as stepping stones in order to propel yourself up to the weak point for Eggman's, well, oversized egg golem. I actually think this is somewhat of a pre-developed prototype for the egg golem we saw in Sonic Adventure 2. Somewhat, anyway. You only see its torso and its upper body as opposed to, like, the entirety of the golem like we saw in Sonic Adventure 2. But I almost think that with that perfect chaos mural we passed by just recently, that may have secretly been a reference to the egg golem as well, and I simply never realized it. This game is quite a love letter to not just Sonic 3D Blast, but a multitude of Sonic games, which is one of the biggest reasons I love it so much. And I also love that we are done with Rusty Ruin Zone. We only have 3 Chaos Emeralds, but I think we can nab the rest over time. Ooh, the teleporter from Sonic 3's Hidden Palace. Love that reference. And there's a lot of them, so get ready to exclaim in surprise and then count a number of times. Alright, so here we are, the Spring Stadium Zone, which I'm going to save for the next video, of course, because again, 1 stage per zone. 1 stage per zone? I can't talk right now. 1 stage per video. Now, I was trying to say something earlier. Oh yeah, this video was actually meant to go up earlier than it actually did, but it had to undergo quite a number of delays, in part because I wasn't satisfied with the level of the microphone audio. You may remember that I've been improving upon that recently, and hopefully it's continuing to strike all the right notes. And then there's me being nearly impossible to satisfy when it comes to my own commentary. Yes, I'm my own worst critic, that's just something you're gonna have to get used to. Anyway, I talked about the sunset background that we saw earlier, along with this one. Again, it alludes to a stage that the commenter in question was referring to, but I'm not quite remembering which one it is. I'll get back to you on that eventually. For now, that will do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I definitely appreciate your viewership, as always. And I would also appreciate it if you'd like to like and a comment down below. Let me know what you think, because I'm always happy to hear from you. To keep up my content, you just gotta hit that sub button and ring that bell. And yeah, feel free to tell me I suck with Amy. It's hard getting used to this character, okay? I could deal playing as her in Adventure. She felt a lot more effortless to control there, especially because you could run and repeatedly perform the hammer flip, but now you have to stand still in order to do it. Let me see. Where is it again? Oh, that's right. Crouching and then pressing the hammer button. You can't do it while you're mobile anymore, which kinda sucks, but at least you can still do a hammer attack while you're jumping, so that'll give you a hitbox to prepare for oncoming enemies, and that's still somewhat convenient. Anyway, I'm talking way too much. I'll see you all next time. Peace! Blue blurs for life. Take care. Love y'all.